Namaste. I, Nitika Chatwal, Assistant Professor in Jyoti Vidyapeeth Women's University, Jaipur, is here to deliver the lecture on biopharmaceutics and pharmacokinetics. This subject is under B Pharm 6th semester, and the unit I am covering is Unit First. So, this is the previous continuing lecture from Introduction to Biopharmaceutics. Now, we are going to understand about the unit biopharmaceutics. In previous lectures, we studied factors affecting dissolution of drug from different forms. Now, we are going through this lecture about pharmaceutical excipients. Now, what are the pharmaceutical excipients that affect the dissolution of drug from different dosage forms? First one is vehicle. Vehicle could be aqueous, non-aqueous. It can be any in nature. Aqueous, non-aqueous, water miscible, and non-aqueous water immiscible vehicles can be used in it. And what will be the aqueous and non-aqueous water miscible examples are propylene glycol. This is the aqueous and non-aqueous water miscible vehicle, and non-aqueous water immiscible vehicle is vegetable oil, which is hydrophobic in nature, and aqueous vehicle will be hydrophilic in nature, which have the example propylene glycol. The bioavailability of drug depends upon its miscibility with body fluids. Viscosity of vehicle also affect absorption. And the second factor is diluents. What are diluents? The diluents, organic diluents and inorganic diluents, these are two types. And organic diluents have examples such as starch, lactose, promote dilution of poorly water soluble hydrophobic drugs like spironolactone. And in organic diluents, the examples are dicalcium phosphate, divalent calcium tetracycline complex that is poorly soluble and unobservable, right? Now, what are lubricants? They are good flow promoters. They are also called as flow promoters. That is the main additive of tablet manufacturing. So, lubricants or anti-frictional agents. Lubricant also called as what? Anti-frictional agents, because lubricants do what? They promote the flow, so the friction properties is reduced. Used it is lubricant is used to ensure good flow property of granules, to reduce the sticking of particles to dyes or punches. In tablet manufacturing, lubricants are used in manufacturing units. For example, SLS, which is a surfactant, sodium lauryl sulfate, is mainly used as a lubricant in various pharmaceutical production companies of tablets. And carbovaxes are also used as lubricant. It is the main example of anti-frictional agent. Now, the other term is binders, that are included in pharmaceutical excipients. Binders are also known as granulating agent. Binders are what? That binds any drug material or any other excipients to each other. That binders are used to hold the powder together in granulation. To promote the cohesive compact for directly compressible materials, binders are used. These are proportion of binder is important. Some examples are there such as starch, acacia, but in starch the proportion is very important. If there will be 5%, then it will work as binder. So the proportion is very important in this pharmaceutical excipient. Now, other pharmaceutical excipient which is used mainly is surfactants that are used as wetting agent to wet a drug molecule. So wetting agents are used that are solubilizes and emulsifies. that enhance or retard drug absorption. Now, the surfactant example is SLS, sodium lauryl sulfate, and Tweenspan are also its example. Now, other pharmaceutical excipient is colorants. Colorants may decrease the dissolution rate of crystalline drug by absorb onto crystalline phase. For example, brilliant blue retards dissolution of sulfathiazole, where brilliant blue is what? A colorant. Okay, so colorants are mainly used. Now, if this is all about pharmaceutical excipient. Now our topic is manufacturing processes. In manufacturing processes, there are various methods of granulation. So first one is wet granulation, and the second one is direct compression, and the third one is agglomerative phase of communication, which is termed as APOC. Now, in compression force, influences of compression force on dissolution rate of tablet. In this, a graph is plotted between compression force and rate of drug dissolution. Now, nature and type of dosage form. There is various nature and types of dosage form. Rate of release of drug from dosage form is depend on complexity of dosage form. Selection of proper dosage form is very important. Now, if we are using tablet, capsule, and other, if powders we are preparing, if we are preparing suspensions, if we are preparing emulsion, and if we are preparing some solution, then the method of preparation is very important, because in tablet they goes to disintegration step. So for this disintegration step, many excipients got changed, and because capsule only go through dissolution of drug, so there is no disintegration. And in powders it disintegrate into fine particles, and in suspension it directly dissolves. In emulsion it also directly dissolves, and drug goes into solution, and drug in solution it directly goes to the blood. So type of dosage form differs differently. Now, nature and type of dosage form, the first one is solution. In solution, rapid absorption occurs because dissolution step is absent over there. In bioavailability of solution, the drug depends upon nature of vehicle, viscosity, stabilizer, etc. And the second one is emulsion. In emulsion, superior than suspension in case of poorly aqueous soluble lipophilic drug. For example, indoxol. And the suspension, in this suspension, rate limiting step is dissolution, where the process occurs. The main process is there is dissolution. Depend this suspension process, this manufacturing thing depend on particle surface area, viscosity of medium, and suspending agent. Now, for powders, this is superior than tablet and capsule. Depending upon particle size, wetting ability will change. For capsule, hard gelatin capsule and soft gelatin capsule also there, where in hard gelatin capsule, powders and granules are the major step, and in soft gelatin capsule, viscous fluid is the major thing. Now, in capsule, this depends upon particle size, density, nature of diluents, intensity of packing, etc. And in tablet manufacturing, tablets are manufactured by wet granulation and dry granulation, where firstly granules are prepared. After these granules preparation, they goes under disintegration. After disintegration, the compressed tablets are going to dissolve, and after dissolution, drug goes into solution, where the drug passes through biomembrane and enters the absorption step, where after absorption, the drug goes into the body. Okay, so this is the sequence of events in absorption of drug from tablet dosage form. right? So this is all about this nature and type of dosage form. Now, what is the important role of biopharmaceutics in drug discovery and development? In drug discovery, the solubility, crystalline state, dissolution rate, salt formation, prodrugs, particle size, and stereochem factors are important roles in biopharmaceutics drug discovery. And in drug development, the steps formulation, manufacturing process, stability, and permeability is the main important role of biopharmaceutics. In Brivanev in BMS 5402515 had shown excellent anti-cancer activity in animals and in vitro models. However, the solubility was very poor. Poor solubility is known to affect the overall amount of drug entering body. In solution, design a salt form of drug that has a better solubility. The discovery scientists developed an alaniate salt that had much better solubility and better bioavailability. And these are the important roles of biopharmaceutics, right? Now, we are now let's study about methods for assessing bioavailability. There are several direct and indirect methods of assessing bioavailability. The selection of method depends on objective of the study, ability of analyzing the drug and metabolites in biological fluids, pharmacodynamic of the active principle, route of administration, and nature of drug product. In this, the following parameters are useful in determining bioavailability of drug from a drug product. First one is plasma drug data. In this, the time of peak plasma or blood concentration Tmax, the peak plasma concentration which is Tmax, and the area under the curve AUC is the main priority. In this, periodical measurement of drug concentration in whole blood, plasma, or serum after drug administration is the most convenient and direct method to assess systemic drug bioavailability. The various parameters are as under and Tmax, which is corresponds to the time required to reach the Cmax after drug administration. At Tmax, absorption is maximized and route of drug absorption exactly equals to the rate of drug elimination. Drug absorption still continues after Tmax is reached, but as a slower rate. In comparing the drug product, Tmax can be used as appropriate measurement of drug absorption rate. The value of Tmax will be smaller for the drug having more rapid rate of absorption and vice versa. The units are hours per minute. And after Tmax, the word Cmax occurs. In Cmax, that indicates the maximum drug concentration that is obtained after extravascular administration of drug. For many drugs, a good relationship is found between the pharmacodynamic effect and plasma concentration. Cmax gives an indication that this drug is sufficiently systematically absorbed to produce a therapeutic response. Additionally, it provides a warning of possibly toxic levels of drug. The units are mcg per ml or mg per ml. Now, area under curve. What is area under curve? It is measurement of extent of drug bioavailability. It reflects the total amount of active drug that reaches the systemic circulation. The AUC is the area under plasma level time curve from T equals to 0 to T equals to alpha, and is equal to the amount of unchanged drug reaching the general circulation divided by the clearance. So the formula of AUC is AUC equals to FD upon clearance, where F is equals to fraction of dose absorbed and D is equals to dose. Okay. Now AUC can be determined by various methods. The first one is numerical integration procedure. The second one is the trapezoidal rule, and the third one is directly by the use of planimeter. And the fourth one is comparing the weight of the paper corresponding to the area under experimental curve to the weight of the paper of known area. The units of AUC are also mcg per r per ml, right? Now this is all about this, and after that we are continuing urinary data, which is also known as urinary drug excretion. In this, the cumulative amount of drug excreted in the urine is described, and which is also known as DU. The rate of drug excreted in urine is given by DU upon DT, which is denoted by what? D. The time of maximum urinary excretion is denoted by T alpha. Okay, urinary drug excretion data can be useful for estimating bioavailability, but it is an indirect method to know or estimate bioavailability. The drug must be excreted in significant quantities in the unmetabolized form for obtaining valid parameters. Also, urine samples must be collected timely, and sensitive methods be used for finding the amount of drug in each sample. Okay, so it can be seen that when the drug is completely eliminated, the plasma concentration approaches zero, and maximum amount of drug excreted in the urine is obtained. So that's it for this lecture. Thank you so much for listening to this. And if you have any queries, please let me know. Please make sure to write down short note about this topic. So thank you so much. If you have any queries, so comment below. Thank you.